Get your sunscreen ready for Tacoma's Freedom Fair activities. A touring exhibition of Football Hall of Fame memorabilia is here in Tacoma, and Point Defiance enhancements are underway. All that and more on this edition of Tacoma Report. Hello, I'm Anita Gallagher. The city may need to update its paid sick leave law this year in light of last November's approval of State Initiative 1433.
Well, the city's minimum wage will actually remain more generous than state minimum wage until at least 2019. For paid sick leave, the state law will be more generous and offer more hours beginning in January of 2018.
Unlike city law, Initiative 1433 doesn't provide paid sick leave for overtime-exempt employees, and the state does not conduct confidential workplace-wide investigations when an individual complaint is filed. The City Council will consider an amendment that resolves these differences this summer. Go to cityoftacoma.org/employment standards to learn more and to subscribe to an email list for updates. The summer construction season is ramping up around Tacoma. The city is involved in a number of active construction projects around the area and offers a list that highlights some efforts that are currently underway. Visit the city's capital projects page to see what efforts are going on in your neighborhood. Big changes are happening at a popular Tacoma destination. Stacy Ellifrit has more on a plan to enhance the experience at Point Defiance Park while honoring its unique character.
A few years ago, an overarching plan for a major fixture in Tacoma was completed that sets the vision for overall improvements and additions. There are currently a number of projects already underway that are the outcome of the Destination Point Defiance long-term comprehensive plan.
The projects that are under construction today, Waterfront Phase 1, park construction near the park entrance, the aquarium at Point Defiance Zoo and Aquarium, the Pacific Seas Aquarium, and then the roundabout entrance to the Point Defiance Park is another project that's coming up. So these are really the early projects that are the outcome of that comprehensive plan, and then others to come in the future.
As the busy summer months gear up at the park, visitors will continue to see work that's underway as part of this first phase.
Waterfront Phase 1, which is our big construction project underway right now, down on the waterfront and the Slag Peninsula, down by the yacht basin and just to the immediate east of the park entrance. And so we've been under construction for about a year. About this time next year would be the expectation when the public will have that park available to them. A real big aspect of that project is the bicycle and pedestrian bridge. Wilson Way is the name of that new facility. And so folks will have a chance to walk and ride their bicycle directly from Ruston Way right into the heart of Point Defiance Park.
As construction continues, scheduled road adjustments are being planned. One upcoming adjustment will affect drivers entering and exiting the park.
The roundabout project, which will get under construction later this summer, is going to be a real challenge because that intersection, the main intersection to the park, needs to remain open as it provides access to the ferry landing and boat launching and the restaurant and marina and so forth. And so we don't have the ability to close that as we might choose to do to keep construction simple. So that's going to be a real challenge, and we're asking the park users, park patrons to be patient and work with us.
Once this phase opens, the community will have even more park to enjoy.
The Peninsula Park down there on Waterfront Phase 1, this is 11 acres of waterfront parkland with fabulous views to Puget Sound and Mount Rainier, and unlike anything that we've got today on the waterfront.
For Tacoma Report, I'm Stacy Ellifrit.
For regular updates on construction impacts and progress, visit the Destination Point Defiance webpage. Metro Parks Tacoma offers a number of volunteer opportunities that fit many interests. Some of these include joining a park work party, a citizen advisory council, or helping out at a local community center. Be part of something bigger and help Metro Parks further their mission to create healthy opportunities to play, learn, and grow. Visit their website to find a topic that interests you and start volunteering today. When we come back from the break, I'll be joined by Clifford Armstrong III to talk about the local employment and apprenticeship training program. The Local Employment and Apprenticeship Training Program, more widely known as the LEAP program, connects Tacoma residents with apprenticeship opportunities through partnerships with local workforce development providers. Here with us today is Clifford Armstrong III, LEAP Program Manager. Welcome to the show, Clifford. Thanks for joining us.
All right, thanks for having me.
So can we start out with the basics? So how did the LEAP program come about in Tacoma?
Yeah, so LEAP started in 1997. It was an initiative by the city to really uplift the citizens. There's a kind of an economic downturn at the time. And the LEAP program was kind of a tool that the city wanted to use to ensure that there'd be more local residents employed on city-funded projects. So that's kind of like the gist of why the program was created. It also explains a little bit how it runs. It's pretty simple. But it's also a little misleading in certain ways, which I could talk about a little bit, just in that through the program, we do help local folks get on jobs, but if a local person was to call me directly, I couldn't myself put him on a job. Right? There's steps and mechanisms by which we kind of guarantee local folks get on jobs.
So let's talk about that piece a little bit. So how does the program match people up with those apprenticeship opportunities?
Yeah. So let's say you are a citizen and you're like, I want to join an apprenticeship. I don't know how to start. I don't know where to go, but I know the LEAP program exists and I know they get local folks on trades jobs. So if you were that person, you could call myself or email me, and the way that the program works is that for individuals, citizens, when they call, we will direct them to local apprenticeship organizations and local trade centers that exist in Tacoma or Pierce County, and sometimes it's King County where they have to do their training and such.
Sure.
So we refer people. We're connected. We're very well connected with the local union halls, local trade halls, and so that's kind of how we would direct somebody. But we also have some pre-apprenticeship programs in the city. So based on a conversation I might have with somebody or kind of seeing where they are, we'll kind of direct them based on where they are and where they're trying to go. But it's not a direct, someone calls us and we put someone to work.
Sure.
It's the contractors who have to actually hire folks. And the apprentice halls, they'll tend to tell you that they will hire somebody when there's a need, and they try not to have apprentices come on if there's not a job directly for them to go on to, because then they're just sitting.
Right.
So there's, a kind of economic chain that exists that really puts people to work, and we just try to make sure that we have local people on the jobs when it's all said and done.
Well, that makes sense. And so how does your program impact bidding on city projects?
Yeah, so when contractors bid on certain projects, so the thresholds for LEAP, which are really important to know, is that LEAP doesn't apply to every city-funded program. So for civil projects, which you would think of as like road work, kind of sewer stuff, that's the threshold is any project over $250,000 that the city funds. Mm-hmm. And then for building projects, which you would think of as things that actually happen within the confines of a building or building a building. So for example, at the municipal tower right now, we have that elevator work going on. That's actually a LEAP project. So that's kind of the distinction. And for building projects, the threshold is $750,000.
Okay.
So that's first. So as a contractor, when the bid goes out, the bid will say whether LEAP or not is required. And then so basically right now we have 15% of the total labor hours on a project need to be local folks. And so the contractors know that, and they kind of send documents that'll say, we expect to use this many of this trade, such and such, and then they will, through the process and the duration of the contract, send me a payroll, and that will verify that they actually are indeed using local folks or not over the course of a contract.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much for joining us to talk about this program, and we'll look forward to talking to you more in the future about it.
Thanks.
Up next, we'll find out how the housing market is doing in Tacoma. Stay tuned. We've been seeing a robust housing market across the region, and in Tacoma, it's been strong for both the single-family and multifamily markets.
The multifamily market is hotter than ever. We have over 2,000 units that are set to break ground between now and next year.
Visit the Community and Economic Development Department online to learn more about housing-related programs and services. Through the city's 2017 Neighborhood Small Innovative Grant Program, a community group in the new Tacoma Neighborhood Council District applied for funding to support a special neighborhood project. Maria Lee has this story.
The City of Tacoma's call to action boiled down to this: innovative ideas wanted. Ideas that fostered community engagement.
So that'll bring it up to the level of the top.
This community group answered that call and applied for funding through the Neighborhood Small Innovative Grant Program for the first time. A quiet, reflective outdoor space they call the G Street Commons Peace Garden. And they've had a great time working together to make it all happen.
We learn each other's personalities even more, and we can joke around more, and we can take things quite seriously too. So that's the nature of relationship, of course. But yeah, it's been a really fun process, and everybody really listens to each other and the unique things and the ideas that we want to bring to the table. I think that it's really helped us understand what each other really want.
I really don't know what it's going to feel like. I have a lot of trust in our designer, who's been a wonderful surprise gift to the process, and I'm excited to see what it really does feel like. I've seen the drawing and I have an image in my mind, but it's going to be nothing like the real completed project. So this is kind of a process of discovery for us now. What does it look like on the ground? Today's the day.
And that process of discovery is what has driven Neighborhood Small Innovative Grant Program funded projects like these forward. For Tacoma Report, I'm Maria Lee.
24 applicants were selected by the neighborhood councils this year for Neighborhood Small Innovative Grant Program funding. More information about Tacoma's neighborhood councils is available online. Mayor Marilyn Strickland and the City Council recently recognized Tacoma's top volunteers during the 2017 City of Destiny Awards at the Star Center.
Since 1987, the City of Tacoma has honored more than 200 outstanding volunteer groups and individuals with the City of Destiny Award. Tonight we have the opportunity to learn about and hear from 8 awardees who will no doubt inspire each and every one of us in this room tonight. City government cannot improve a community alone. It is a tireless and dedicated work of volunteers that really make a community much better.
This year, for the first time, the City of Destiny Awards program also recognized volunteers and professionals who serve as disability advocates. Tacoma recently completed another successful Relay for Life. The 24-hour event raises funds for the American Cancer Society and began right here in Tacoma. What started with Dr. Gordy Klatt running the track at the University of Puget Sound in 1985 has now grown to events taking place in over 5,200 communities in the United States. It's also held in 27 other countries. Relay for Life is the #1 fundraiser for cancer research, having raised over $5 billion. Even though the event has come and gone, you can still donate to this worthy cause by going to the American Cancer Society website. After the break, we'll get a look at the Gridiron Glory exhibition at the Washington State History Museum. If you're a football fan, you'll want to make sure that you check out the new exhibit at the Washington State History Museum. Gridiron Glory, featuring items from the Pro Football Hall of Fame, is drawing huge crowds. As Lane Fickey tells us, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
This traveling exhibit from the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio only makes 2 stops each year. The city that's hosting that year's Super Bowl and one other. This year, the other city is Tacoma. Artifacts documenting the history of football going back to 1900 are on display at the Washington State History Museum. In addition to viewing how equipment has changed over the years and learning about pro teams that no longer exist, you'll also discover how pro football was reintegrated in the 1940s, ending racial discrimination in that sport. There are items on display for all NFL teams, and of course the Seattle Seahawks are well represented. It took 5 years of coordination to bring this exhibit to Tacoma with the help of the Tacoma Athletic Commission.
I will say that it's the only location in the Pacific Northwest where this will be. And we were really interested in it because history is material culture, history told through the objects and artifacts that a culture leaves behind. And our mission here at the Washington State Historical Society is to connect people to history through these kinds of objects and stories.
Not everyone is a sports fan, but there really is something for everyone with this exhibit. And the Washington State Historical Society is pleased about the cross-promotion that's being created between athletics and history.
What we're seeing is a lot of visitors that may not have been here before who are just excited about the topic, but then they're seeing the rest of the museum. But we're also seeing our traditional visitors. You know, just because you watch the History Channel doesn't mean you don't also watch, Monday Night Football. So it's a topic that I think brings us together.
One of the neat things about this exhibit are all the interactive aspects it has, including this one where you can actually hear a conversation between the coach and the quarterback when they're talking about the play they're going to run. Gangster right waggle, skinny post on 2. Got it. For Tacoma Report, I'm Lane Fickey.
Gridiron Glory runs through September 10th. Go to washingtonhistory.org for more information. The Tacoma Freedom Fair is a Tacoma and Puget Sound tradition for more than 40 years. It's the kickoff for the Northwest Summer. Dave Gordon has more.
Tacoma Freedom Fair launches into the July 4th weekend with 4 days of red, white, and blue celebration. Organizers say more than 125,000 attendees joined the Ruston Way waterfront last year, with even more planned for this year, with food, fun, and action in the skies above Tacoma's waterfront July 1st through July 4th.
And it's like bring good family entertainment down on the 4th of July, respect our heritage, celebrate our independence, have a family-friendly event. And we do that every year.
The Freedom Fair and Air Show is a destination event in our area. Live music and an international food court winds through the Ruston Way shoreline. Military displays, car shows, and a children's area are all part of the scene, with a 4th of July heart-pounding air show topped off with a crackle and bang of fireworks that evening. Grape says that this annual event also needs community support to keep things going for next year.
When you've got pilots coming from all over the country and you've got a grand finale fireworks, and I won't go into details of how much it costs, but it's a lot of money. And it takes a lot of money and a lot of folks to put this thing on.
$5 Freedom Fair Express bus passes will have stops at the Tacoma Dome and at Tacoma Community College. For Tacoma Report, I'm Dave Gordon.
The Freedom Fair and Air Show is a 4-day event with thousands expected along Tacoma's Ruston Way waterfront. Organizers recommend taking the bus, with connection points at Tacoma Community College and at the Tacoma Dome Station. Local gardeners should take note that Tagro recently switched to their summertime hours, going on now through the end of September. For those picking up from the Tagro location at the Central Treatment Plant, they are now open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and from 8 a.m. to noon on Saturday. Tagro is always closed on Sundays and holidays. For more information, including a full list of locations to purchase Tagro potting soil, visit the city's website. That's all the time we have on this edition of Tacoma Report. A great way to find out about the services the City of Tacoma has to offer is by going to cityoftacoma.org. Until next time, I'm Anita Gallagher.